Alrighty, legends, listen up. We've got a few sponsors to kick off today's episode. First up, we have LJ Fab. If you're looking for a premium tray and quality service in and around the Sunshine Coast, Chinchilla area where they're based, all over Australia, you can get a custom tray and canopy made from LJ Fab. Starting June, he's taking orders. Shipping Australian-wide, amazing work, second to none. Make sure you get your hands on one. But if you're looking to get some perfect photography and videography work done of that tray, you can hit up our next person in Hampton's Media Services. Hampton's, he's ranging between Gold Coast and Bundaberg. He's doing all sorts of professional videography, photography, any of your logos, animation design. Make sure you go check him out. He's doing some unbelievable, incredible work. Alrighty, how's it going, legends? Episode 2. I'm actually running a solo episode for this one. Just sort of get something in, run a bit of a hot topics and see if we can change things up a little bit and not always rely on a guest. So this episode, I sort of just want to jump in. I put up a few things on social media just in the questions, asking for a few just hot topics, things going on, current things. So we'll get into that very shortly. But first, I want to say a massive thanks to everyone that just jumped on last week and listened, sent me a message, shared some stories. Guys, it worked. This doesn't work without any of us. It's hugely appreciated. Everyone that sent me a message last week, give yourselves a pat on the back. That was the support meant a heap to me. So I'm bloody stoked to see where this goes. I want to just keep pushing it, stick it out, and, give you a few of the boys out there, they all sitting in machines and trucks and that and driving around all day. They want something to listen to. And if they're happy to listen to me, I want to give them content to do it. So, yeah. All right. So the questions I threw out, I was just going to talk about hot topics, current topics, everything that's going on. Obviously, at the time of this recording, it's coming up to Rocky Nats weekend. So I may or may not be going up there, but it's going to be a busy week for everyone that's heading up there. It sounds like it's going to be good. So hopefully everyone has a good weekend up there, stays safe and does the right thing, and it doesn't cause any issues for it. So a few questions that I got here, like the biggest thing I've seen this week, or it might have been last weekend, up on Fraser or Gary or whatever you choose to call it, a girl getting bit by a dingo. Now, I didn't think I'd be talking about this on the podcast by myself, but yeah, a girl at Waddy Point, attacked by a dingo, got bitten. Not ideal, not what you want to see, but guys, we can't keep treating dingoes on Fraser like they're your pet dog. Like I'm sitting here right here next to my little German Shepherd, and well, he's not that little, but he can be a vicious dog if he doesn't know you. He can look aggressive, but he's tiny and cuddly. These dingoes aren't domesticated. They're wild animals that fight for their pack. So, look, I'm not very knowledgeable. There's other people out there that are wildlife experts that know all about them. But, guys, we can't keep leaving food, out baits, everything like that on the beaches, and especially it's hard with a kid. They're a smaller target for a dingo. But I think we just got to be – it's not the parents' fault, I don't think. Like, yeah, you can't just be always keeping your eye on a kid when you're sitting up at Waddy Point where it is and not expect a dingo to come through. But I think we just got to be more aware of them and know that it's their place. It's the same as you go out for a swim in the ocean, you understand there's sharks out there. It's just a risk you take. I'm not saying every time you go into the ocean there's going to be a shark there, but there's a reason why there's flagged beaches so they can control that. And yeah, I think it's very unfortunate to sort of see, but I guess that's sort of part of the risk. And you go onto this island where a lot of people do stuff around and do the wrong thing, and yeah, that's where it can sort of lead to, I suppose. If everyone's feeding dingoes and leaving food out for them, they get complacent. The other big one this week was, I was talking to a few people about it, Cape York. They've actually handed back the tip to the national landowners, or the original landowners, however you refer to everything. But sort of a few topics that come up, and I'd like to maybe jump on with someone eventually and talk more in depth to it. Basically, look, it's a hard one because I don't know how it's going to be run, but I don't know, if they're going to make a walk to the tip, you've got to be with a ranger and like have a tour guide and all be like passes and everything. I think it's going to be, in my opinion, I think it's going to be very bad for the four-wheel drive industry. I don't exactly see it being a good thing. So I don't know. It could be something that we've got to bring up and I don't know, get some more awareness around that. That I think tourism's going to suffer because I know myself, I'm not going to want to go up to the tip if I've got to wait an hour to get a car park, go with a tour guide that's going to be, all right, let's walk up to the tip, get your photo, all right, off we go. You want to sort of relax and enjoy your holiday. You spend weeks getting up there all for a 5-minute trip to the tip. I think it's going to be different if we restrict it more and more and more. And I think it's going to push a lot of people away. But in saying that, I was talking to a bloke last night, back to the bush, and he was saying if they do the passes, they want to be a part of organising it all. And I think he did make a good point. If they do a pass system, whether it's from the Jardine onwards, then it's probably going to eliminate a lot more of the rubbish, the people that don't really care about the area. It's going to sort of invite more people that just want to do good up there. And I can see that being a positive thing, but I can also see it being a very hard hit because there's some beautiful spots up there like Loyalty Beach and Punson Bay. Everyone wants to go up there and relax. So I don't know, I'd like to hear everyone's thoughts on what they think about it all being handed back. There is goods, there is bads to it, but I think it's, like you look at what's happening down like Victoria and that and the high country, they're all locking up gates and everything's getting shut off. No matter where you are, actually, it's people are doing the wrong thing, and Parks and Wildlife are just walking in, they're closing the gates and they're shutting it down, and ultimately it just turns into that no one gets a shot at using it. And I think we've seen the same thing up Double Island with people going up there and rolling cars and doing all that. It just ruins the beach. Like I've gone up to Double Island maybe twice in the last year, and I could happily say 5 years ago I was going up every second or third weekend because we enjoyed it, and now no one enjoys going up there unless you're with your small group of mates that you can sort of get away, and hopefully that everyone that you're with understands the rules. So I don't know. Let us know your thoughts on what you think about the tip being, I don't know, restricted and having to have passes and a tour guide or a ranger to guide you up to the tip, because I think it's, like I said, could be bad, could be good. I see both sides of where they're going with it, but I don't know. If it's going to cost too much money and it's not going to be enjoyable, I don't see a lot of people going up past the ferry. I see a lot of people going basically to the end of the Telegraph track, doing your touristy spots there, turning around, heading to Weipa or back to the, the coast where you got Cooktown and all like Lions Den and everything like that. There's plenty to see up there, but I think it could be, if the passes aren't vented properly, then there could be bigger issues at hand. We got another question here: long-term versus short-term four-wheel drive trips and how to pack. If you're doing a weekender trip, pack as light as possible. I don't know, it's up to you how you do pack, but you don't need 10 meals and all that sort of stuff, because most of the time for a weekend trip, you end up at the pub on the way there or the way back, or dinner here and someone else is doing a cook-up. Like, organise your feeds with everyone. For your longer trips, you sort of want to be self-sufficient as much as you possibly can, but if you're packing for a long term, have a freezer if possible, so you can freeze everything down. I know when we went to Cape York last year, we were cooking up bulk foods every night, and basically you freeze them down, you put them in the oven or you heat them back up on the stove, whatever your terms of cooking are, and I don't know, it just makes it a little bit easier for not carrying as much bulky stuff, and obviously carrying less meals there. For like all your extras wise, if you're going out for a weekend, you don't need every single thing. I'm pretty bad for it sometimes, but like I can do a day trip up the beach and I can take my center console fridge full of stuff, maybe a couple of snacks, and it might be a surfboard or wakeboard or whatever we're doing if we've got a jet ski, and maybe a swag if we do an overnighter. But you don't need much. Some people even take esky still, which is perfectly fine. It's a simple way to do it. Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one. Long term versus short term packing. I mean, it defines a lot of how you're going long term traveling. Are you talking long term 1 to 2 weeks, or are you talking a couple of months to a year? If you're going a couple of months to a year, I'd say you've probably got a good idea on what you're already doing and how you set up. Like, just start with a weekend first and then go to a week, and then you'll if you sit there and you get back and you go, all right, I'm not using this, I'm probably not going to use it, but it's handy, don't take it. If you are using it a lot, make sure it's in an easy access spot where you don't have to pull extra stuff out to get to it. More things like that. I'll run through. I've got other ones on here too, a few other questions. Twin snorkels and why they're pointless. Look, obviously they are pointless if you've got one Bluetooth snorkel and then one hooked up snorkel. Look, everyone's running their own race. Everyone's doing their own thing. I don't see the point in arguing if one's hooked up or not. Some people like myself, I like symmetrical on my car. I'm not running any aftermarket snorkels yet, but I know a lot of people, they love looking at their car and seeing it symmetrical and all the, like, everything looking in line, and I can understand that a lot, but there's really no reason. Some people plumb them in and do a dual snorkel. I know there's kits out there for, depending on the vehicle, and yeah, look, they could be good if you're pushing the power or the need for it. But yeah, twin snorkels and why they're pointless, it's, yeah, personal opinion. I'll let everyone run their own races. I'm building my car for myself, so is that person probably. So yeah, let them do their thing. Another one, do you have to retune your truck if you put an aftermarket exhaust on it? Not for an exhaust, no. You only retune your ute if you're chasing extra power, stuff like that. I know in the Land Cruisers, if you want to retune them, you have to do a clutch. I don't even think most shops will tune them if you don't do a clutch now. Exhaust is just an extra add-on. If you're doing a retune, you might as well just do your exhaust, your clutch, and maybe intake, like your snorkel, anything like that. But honestly, it comes down to how much power you're chasing, what you actually want to do with your ute, and yeah, do you need it or not, I suppose. This is a good one. Nissans versus cruisers, or Nissans or cruisers. Look, both are great. Both do their job for whatever you choose to be doing. I know a few boys that have some Nissan Patrols, and mate, they'll outrun the cruiser every day of the week. And I know they'd sit there and turn around and say the same thing about the cruiser is, mate, they're not going to be towing big trailers and stuff all week or touring. They're more four-wheel drive based. And I think if you're doing a lot of rock crawling, four-wheel driving, and that's all you want to do, go a Patrol. They're definitely a lot cheaper than most of the cruisers at the moment as well, depending on what cruiser you're looking at. And yeah, I think when you say Nissans or cruisers, just sort of bringing up, I mean, you got to look at it too. It's not Nissans versus Toyota, it's Nissan versus Cruiser. So you're singling out a lot there. If you go Nissans versus Toyota, look, I'm a Toyota man. Stick with it. Stay with your Toyota, Land Cruiser, Hilux, whatever you've got. Nissans, you've got your Patrols, now got your new wagons, the Y62s. They sound great, but yeah, look, what's your preference? What are you doing with it? Are you towing? Are you putting tools on the back? Are you throwing a canopy on? There's plenty of different options for both, and I suppose, what do you trust? What do you keep spares of? What are your mates driving? Sometimes, if all the boys are running cruisers and they've all got spares for cruisers, if you've got a Patrol, you're probably going to be the other one out, so you're going to carry a lot more spares on your own, just for your own car. Doesn't mean you all have to run the same vehicle, but it does help. And knowing how to work on your car and fix stuff too, that's always a bonus. Another good one, the whole coils over leaf debate, the pros and cons. Oh, I think anyone knows you could go on for this over days. Same thing comes back. What are you doing with the car? I think coils. I probably won't buy another 79 without coils again. They've just been so versatile in what you can do. Like load it up, heaps of weight, go wheeling. I've never disconnected my sway bars in mine, so I don't really know how it goes like that in the J-Max kit. But like you can run leafs in the J-Max kits, and from the performance I've seen, they look unreal. They still perform great. I mean, you're obviously going to have your differences. I'm not sure if they run airbags in the leaf kits, but in the coil kits, they do. I mean, it comes down to if you're running a very constant weight canopy all the time, you probably don't need to go to coils because you're going to have, if you set your leaves up right, you're going to have it set up insane. I mean, a perfect example is Ryan Kessel's Troopy. It's a full leaf all round Troopy, and that thing outflexes probably most coil converted rigs out there. I know it's probably better than mine, and the way the whole geometry of his suspension works, just you look at Leaf a second time over. In your opinion, you might be saving a bit of money there, but you've got to make sure you know your weights, you set up right, and all that. And going back to coils, there's definitely plenty of coil setups out there. First, you've got J-Max, who I'm running their 3900 coil kit. Then you've obviously got the other outstanding ones, which are Superior. I think it's J-Race. And then you've got your mobs who are doing just I think it's like Ironhide Customs and all them that are doing coil kits as well. Comes down to how legal you want the kits and I suppose sort of what you're using it for. You could be hard forward driving, you could be touring, you could be towing. For my kit with the J-Max kit, it's probably the best kit on the market. If you're relying on towing and traveling and touring, you'd be crazy not to. It's picking up all the factory locations. Mine's a bolting kit. Couldn't be more happier with it. They do not move. I haven't had an issue in the last 2 and a bit years of my J-Max kit. I've broken a sway bar link. It's just worn out the heim joints, but yeah. For that, the only thing to go wrong in a whole kit that you do spend 20 grand on, I'd say that's a win. Can't speak on any of the other kits. The other kits out there, look, they've obviously done their work. They're putting in their R&Ds. But yeah, if you're going to Superior and you're going, hey, I want to load this car up to 4.5 ton. I want to be towing a caravan and I want to be traveling Australia. My opinion would be probably don't, but look at the boys that have got those coil kits and they're going out wheeling all the time and mate, you'd be crazy not to. There's better travel there with the longer arms and all that sort of stuff. And then, yeah, I mean, from those two, they're probably big industry leaders. You go into people like J-Race and that, some of their kits, they've got long arms. They're looking really good for a bit of both. Getting into a little bit more towing and more forward driving. It's just, yeah, look, there's plenty of different options out there for everyone that suits every different person's need. Not everyone's going to want to go out and spend, 20 grand, 50 grand on a chassis extension, a coil kit and all that, where there's always someone out there who's going to spend, you can spend sub 10 grand on a coil conversion if you really want to. And look, I'm not saying it's going to be a legal kit and it's not going to be done correctly, but you're going to get what you pay for at the end of the day. And look, some of those kits are still out there. They're performing well. I see them on boys use all the time. And look, they're a great bit of gear. But I don't have to worry at all. Every day I go out on the road, people go, oh, don't you worry about police? And then I go, if you got a fully engineered car that's pre-registration approved, federally approved, you don't worry about it. And I suppose you pay that money for the peace of mind. If you're getting one of these, I don't know, I wouldn't call them a dodgy kit, but a sub-market kit that's not federally approved, that hasn't gone through all the pacings, and it's in your car, let's say it's cost you sub 10 grand. Look, it could be a great kit, but if you get pulled over and the Department of Transport goes, look, this kit isn't any good, but pulling your car off the road, you've essentially got a $50,000-$100,000 car that's now useless to you. So it's always something to think about, I guess, and yeah, see what you're using it for. If you're daily driving it, I'd recommend spending the money, get a good kit. And I know for myself, I'm towing a trailer and that for work when I'm doing that. And yeah, the peace of mind, having the airbags, knowing it's a good kit, set up well, pays off. So, and then you've always got the options of, you've got all your 79s now are coil front but leaf rear. You can go into your what did I say there? ARB and your TJMs. I'll just try to mix them both together at once. But you go into them, you get a GVM kit. It's probably going to cost you $3-4 grand. You still keep your leaf suspension. They're set up for your towing, carry your extra weight. And this probably goes for all cars too. Like, you can go to your Hiluxes and your Rangers and your Navaras, and you can get a GVM kit in pretty much all of them, I'm sure. And look, it just depends what you want to do with the car, really. Are you going to be towing? Are you going to be full driving? Are you going to have just a tub set up? Are you going to have trailers? Are you going to be fluctuating? Yeah, just see what works for yourself. I know I've figured out my setup now, and yeah, it works well. So we got a few. Someone commented in Morgan Wallen. Look, everyone went to about 2-3 weeks ago. Everyone went to the Morgan Wallen concerts. Looked like a bloody awesome time. Spewing I missed it, but I think I just about seen the whole Morgan Wallen concert on every single person's Snapchat story that went there. If you went, you probably know who you are. Everyone filmed the whole bloody thing, so there was no shortage of seeing what it was. But geez, to be in the stadium is always a different feeling anyway. So that would have been good as well. I mean, what else can we ramble on at the moment about? Well, I want to bring up maybe future plans and trips this year. Maybe a bit more on what I might be doing myself, and yeah, go from there. Biggest plan for this year, I set a bucket list item last year, and that was Fink Desert Race. Always grown up racing bikes. I've just sort of wanted to get out there and watch the desert race. I'm sure everyone sort of jumped on and seen the movie that came out a few years back. I can't remember what it was called, but I think it's called Fink There and Back. And it's an unreal documentary that a few blokes put together. Maybe 2017, 2018, I think it might have been. And I don't know, since then I've sort of gone, all right, I'm going to get out to Fink one year and just watch it. I probably won't ever be riding it or racing it or whatnot, but yeah, I'm keen to head out to Fink this year with a heap of the crew and check it out, and just spend a week in the middle of Australia and watch some racing. I think the week prior to the race days, you've got prologues and pre-running and all that. So I think a lot of people are going to head out there and sort of do your stops and checks. Going to be a new experience for me. I've never been out there. I've only heard and watched about it. So yeah, very excited for that. If anyone's out there, make sure you come over, say hi. I'll have the ute out there and be cruising around. I'm not sure exactly who I'm going out there with, but I know there's, I was talking to a few boys, you got Mick there to explore. I think Sam Oles was talking about going out. I know Patriot are obviously going to be out there racing. So you've always got your big names, and then you've got obviously Toby Prices and that if they're racing, or your motorbikes, quads, UTVs, trophy trucks. Yeah, you're going to have heaps of people out there, and then you're just going to have your general people that are out, cheering on the side. So yeah, be interested to see if anyone's heading out to Fink this year, flick us a message and try and organise a trip out there and maybe do something in between, the coast and Fink. Next, going back to probably at the start of the episode, the restrictions at the tip of Cape York. I want to get up Cape York again this year. I didn't do Old Coach Road last year. I sort of found about it mid-trip, so it wasn't in our plans. Obviously, you got to stop at the Lion's Den Hotel. That's always a must-do. I'm missing what's the track between Cairns and Cooktown? I've completely forgotten it now. It's mind blank. It's at the very start of everyone's trip or the end of however way you do it. I'll remember it probably shortly. But yeah, I want to get up Cape, and we got a little bit of bad weather last year, and hopefully I can try and get through Frenchman's Track this year. That's definitely on the list to do the complete Frenchman's Track, not pull out halfway. Last year when we went up, we actually got stuck at the Pasco River, and we're basically sitting there in a bit over neck deep water and going, oh, well, you just wouldn't drive a four-wheel drive through there. But only a week later, the river dropped enough, and we're getting videos of blokes walking through waist deep, and we're just going, oh, well, it's just luck of the draw, I suppose. So getting lucky up there is a big thing, and yeah, I regret not taking a boat or anything up, but definitely do a little bit more fishing if we get up that way. Probably might head down Vic High Country this year, later towards the end of the year. Growing up down in New South Wales, you do get to go down to the high country and that, whether you're snowboarding or skiing or full driving, riding bikes, all that. Been up there on a motorbike when I was a little fella, but never done it in a car. So one thing I definitely want to tick off is, get the ute down into the snow and have a bit of fun. So I might hit up a few boys when I'm down there and see if they can show me the local tracks around and see what the high country's got to offer. But leading off that, I probably want to spend maybe a month or so down, Victoria, New South Wales, and catch up with mates and friends, family, and do all that. And if you're listening to this and you're down that way and you think you got a good story to tell or there's something interesting going on, mate, flick us a message, jump on here with us, and we'll have a chat. And we might be able to go find some good tracks or something to do for the week. And what else is there to sort of do down there? I've been down to New South Wales, Victoria probably the last 10 years, maybe 4 or 5 times. And it's only like a week at a time if I'm lucky. So, I suppose we could talk a little bit about some current events and everything going on Rocky Nats this weekend. I know the boys are keen to get up there. One of the boys, Andre, he's just finished rebuilding his GQ ute, the blue ute, Piss Bus. I'm sure everyone knows who he is as well. We go back and forth all the time online. A few of the other boys are going to be up there. I'm sure if you name the person, they're going to have a ute, a car, something up at that show. There's some of the videos I've seen already, just everyone getting the lineups and scrutineering and stuff. Huge four-wheel drives, your low drift cars, your classic cars. I think it's going to be a good weekend. So I might sort of leave it there. And if I get up there this weekend, I might try and sit down with a few of the boys and, we can talk about the weekend and do a weekend recap maybe next week and fill you in on what's happened. So make sure everyone has a good weekend. It's Easter weekend. How did I forget about that? Easter weekend. So this probably will be out by the time you've listened to it, but obviously I wonder who's going to forget their piss on Friday. Good Friday, obviously everyone does their own thing, but bottle-os aren't open. So get your piss on Thursday, which is actually today, the day I'm recording it. And make sure you're organised for a long weekend. Everyone stay safe out there. I know there's going to be a lot of roadworks and traffic and police and everything like that out there for the long weekend. Do the right thing. And hopefully when you're listening to this, you've had a good weekend. You haven't had anything break and stuff up and everyone's done the right thing. So look, this might be just a shorter episode today. First solo ep, just sort of winging it, ask for a few questions on hot topics. And look, we'll see how it turns out. Give us your feedback on how you thought of it. as always, guys, appreciate everyone listening. If you can screenshot this episode, share it to your social media. Remember to tag us, Hey Big Mac, the Hey Big Mac podcast, Hey Big Mac 79, even Hey Big Mac 4x4 page. Look, we'll share it. We'll tag it to our stories. We appreciate everyone that listens to the podcast. Make sure you go check out the sponsor pages, Hampton's Media Services and LJ Fab. Look, get yourself some video photography, your animations, logos. Go to Luke at LJ Fab, get a tray built, maybe some boxes, some guards. You never know what you might need, ladder racks. So make sure you hit up them, go give them a follow on the socials. And yeah, that'll finish us off for today's episode. Yeah, look, not a big one, but it's something that I suppose we'll work on. We might have to look at getting a co-host on the show and yeah, see where it ends up. So enjoy your long weekend, guys. Hopefully it was a good one, and we will see you on the next episode. Make sure you jump over, if you're on Spotify, like, follow, send us a message that you've watched it. Make sure you rate it 5 stars. Apple Podcasts are on there too, and also YouTube. Jump over, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a like and comment. It does not go unnoticed, guys. Every time someone does it, we'll probably get a notification, or we'll see it in a week's time and go, all right, a few more people have noticed it. And look, the more love that you're helping us spread, the better. And we do really appreciate it, guys. So thank you very much and enjoy. See ya.